I don't want to abuse the royal family, but you see, she was neglected. This is our royal family and we have to put up with them at the moment. But I think that Diana was somebody they didn't understand how wonderful she was or how much the people admired her. They just ignored her, what she was doing.
Many people think the HRH title should now be restored to her.
Well, it's rather late, isn't it?
Start?
Yes?
Yes? All right.
I'm rolling.
Okay. Dame Barbara Cartland, how do you think Diana, Princess of Wales, will be remembered?
Well, I shall always remember her as the Princess of Love. What people want is love. That's why she loved my books, and she used to read all my books because they were about love only, and I never write about sex. But what is so important was she gave love to people. She gave love to small boys who were unhappy. She gave love to people who had to die. And they felt when they gone, they felt they were happy because love is the thing that makes people happy and right inside them. And they felt that she'd given them something quite different to what they had felt before. And you see, nobody else has ever done that. And it's made her so vivid to people and so strong. They're going to miss her so much now. Of course everybody's making a fuss. She gave love, which is the thing, is so much more important than anything else. And that's the only one person who's given it in my life, anyhow, the way she did it.
And yet she was a sort of tragic person as well, wasn't she?
No, when I knew her first, she wasn't tragic at all. She was enjoying life enormously. She enjoyed life and she loved my books because they were about love. And she looked for love and she thought she'd find love everywhere she went, which she did.
Do you think that she found love at the end of her life?
Well, we all hoped she would, you see. We hoped that she'd find someone that she really loved and be really happy with, you see. And I think that that's what she was looking for. Someone who would make her feel the same as she felt when she wanted to help people and make them feel wonderful. That's what she was looking for in the men that came round her. Of course, she was pleased when men fell in love with her. She was a very human person. She wanted that. But what she wanted more than anything else was the love that she gave out from herself. She wanted to feel the same. And that was what we always hoped, that she'd find someone who really loved her for herself and not with all the funny ideas, but just because she was just a wonderful person.
Because there has now been this great outpouring of love for her following her death, are you at all surprised or concerned that there has been no statement, no word from the royal family?
Well, I don't want to abuse the royal family, but you see, she was the only royalty who never had ladies in waiting. And one night, I read in the newspapers that she got up at 12 o'clock, gone to see a man who was dying, cheered him up, made him feel happier, feel it was all right, he was going to heaven, then gone home alone. And I said to her, I wrote to her and said, look, darling, you might have been kidnapped, you might have been taken up by royal people who just smashed your car. You must never do that again. You must take a man with you. But she hadn't got anyone to consult. And at that time, she didn't seem to have a chauffeur who had gone with her. You see, she was neglected. And that was really why I was very worried at the end that something might happen wrong. I didn't expect it to be as bad as it is. But I thought she might have been knocked about or, her car stolen from her or anything. And of course, I never thought it'd be what it was.
There have been thousands and thousands of tributes paid to her.
Oh, I've had an enormous amount this morning. I've been all the morning answering them from all over the world.
And yet none from the royal family.
Well, it seems very extraordinary to me. But I mean, the point is that you're saying things now and saying we've made mistakes and things. Of course they've made mistakes. But you see, they didn't realise how wonderful she was or how marvellous she was to everybody. And they just ignored her, what she was doing. And now everybody's coming and saying how they must miss her, how they want the love that she gave them. You see, when you go to see people who are dying, what they want is reassurance that they're going to God and they're going to feel, and that's what she believed. She believed in God. She believed that children, if you prayed enough, that you would get in touch with God. And of course, if you really believe that, and you could make other people believe it, they died happily. People that she went to see who were dying, she left them happy and content and knowing that they were going straight to God. Well, now, who does that? Who else does that at the moment except priests? And priests, sometimes not so good as she is. But, I mean, she was absolutely wonderful. And I did worry once or twice when she was, going out alone at night. As I say, I wrote to her and said, you mustn't do that again. It really is dangerous. Because London is very dangerous today. And you see, she had no one to talk to, no one to advise her, no one to help her. She was just alone with her servants. And one night I rang up and I said she'd gone to bed crying. I saw in the paper, so I rang up. And they said, well, she turned off the telephones and she was crying upstairs by herself.
How do you think she was treated by the royal family?
Well, I think they were rather unfair on taking away, first of all, not giving her her ladies in waiting, which are friends, you see, and there's somebody always with you, not to advise you. And then it was very unfair, I think, to take away her royalty. If she'd had her royalty, what she was travelling in would have been examined by our people, the English, who always examine anything to do with royalty by our people, not left to the French or anybody else. They'd have seen it, and they perhaps would have not allowed her to go in that carriage.
Many people think that the HRH title should now be restored to her.
Well, it's rather late, isn't it? I don't think it ought to have been taken away in the first place. She married the Prince of Wales, and if you marry the Prince of Wales, you remain royal. And her son is the heir to the throne. And of course, it was absurd that it was taken away in the first place.
In London, thousands and thousands of people have been laying flowers outside Buckingham Palace and outside Kensington Palace, and yet the royal family has stayed in Balmoral. Do you think that's a wise decision?
Well, it's not for me to say, and as I say, this is our royal family and we have to put up with it at the moment. But I think that Diana was somebody they didn't understand how wonderful she was, or how much the people admired her, and how much they know what they've missed. I mean, I've had pathetic letters all the morning from people who say, I've just met her once with you, or I've heard about her, and they all feel that they've lost something which is very, very unusual, which it is. It's love. It's what we all wanted. And what I write about was love, and why she read my books was she read about love, and she loved them and said, I adore your books. She always gave her my books to read, and she read an enormous amount of them because she wanted love. Well, who doesn't want love? We all want love. And she not only wanted love and had love for herself, but gave it out to other people. She left people when they were ill and nearing death, feeling happy. I mean, who else can do that? It was wonderful. She was a wonderful, wonderful person, an unusual person. And as unusual with the British, we didn't realise until it was too late how wonderful she was.
On the subject of love, she was adored by her sons.
Well, of course.
Without their mother, what sort of life do you think they're now going to lead?
Well, somebody must look after them. They must be looked after. They're very nice boys. My son was shooting with one of them the other day, and he was very polite to the older people. He was very, they all said, what a nice boy, how charming he is. And I mean, who's going to look after him? And she adored her two sons, and they adored her. And it's going to be very, very difficult. I do see today in the papers, they put the nanny that meant so much to them. It's going with them at the moment. And I thank goodness for that, because they were very fond of that nanny, and she was very sweet to them.
And they, with their mother, when they were with her mother, they led quite a normal life. didn't they, outside the establishment? Do you fear that may now change?
Well, it was with the boys whenever she could be, you see. And of course they went up to Scotland and they had a lovely time in Scotland, and they adored being there. And she always had as much as she could of her children. She loved her children, and they meant an enormous amount to her.
Are you going to go to the funeral?
Well, I don't know yet. I'm just wondering if I shall or I won't. I don't know. I'm very old, as you know, and it might be a very moving as well as a very exhausting thing. I'm just thinking it over.
You have written 662 books. If you had to sum up her life in one line, how would you?
Love. The Princess of Love. She gave love. Nobody else has ever done that. They've done all sorts of things. They've been charming, they've been delightful, but they actually gave love, real love, into people's lives. Everybody wants love. We all want love. That's why I write about love. And that's why she liked my books so much, because they're all about love. And she adored the books. That's really I don't write about sex at all or anything like that. It's all love, 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 and that's what she enjoyed. And when we had lunch the other day, I told her that the Russians had said, what I think is awfully good, love comes from the heart and the soul. You see, and that's what she gave people. For their hearts and their souls, she gave them love.
Irreplaceable.
I'm quite at the moment. You find me one other person who could do that. She wasn't anybody important. She hadn't got a special title to start with, and yet all over the world now people are writing letters. I've had hundreds of letters already, and goodness knows how many her sons have had, all to say they miss her. I think it's amazing that one young girl could move the country so much and make people feel that in losing her, they're losing something very, very precious, which you may never find again.
A question then, if I may.
Yeah.
Okay. You talked about the princess being the princess of love. How would you like to be remembered?
I think I'd like to be remembered as also giving people a little bit of happiness and love, because I write my books and they all end in love, and there's no sex in it at all. And therefore, I do know that people do say to me, rather like she did, that I made her very happy when she read my books, because they were all about real love. You see, and all other books is now, sex, sex, sex. And the only place I don't sell very well is England, because they want sex all the time. I won't write sex of any sort. But the Russians have got the wonderful thing, and they say they'd found love, the love which comes from God and is part of God and is there for eternity. And that's how I end my books all the time. And they say, of course, love comes from the heart and the soul.
You describe the princess as being the princess of love. Do you think you are going to be remembered as the queen of love?
I'd be happy if I'm remembered as bringing love to people. I get so many letters from men all over the world, and they say, we love your books because it's about love. And of course, if you think of it, everybody wants love. Don't ever, you're man or woman or a young girl, you want love. Of course you want love. And therefore, when you rather ruin love by talking about sex and, with people like that, it's all rather sort of bad for you and rather upsetting. While you talk about real love, it's marvellous. Everybody's looking for love, and then they find love.
Is that the secret of a long life?
I think it's the secret of a happy life. I don't think you live longer because of it, but it's because you feel happier and you want to help people, and once you have love, you want to give it to other people, you see. And we are very short of love now. Most of the press are always saying the wrong things, unkind things. Why do they want that? What we want to do is make this a happy, wonderful country where people find love. And that's what we all should be looking for. And that's exactly what Diana was doing. She was making love in this whole country. And look at this. What other young women of no particular importance could command the misery and the unhappiness of everybody now that we've lost her? I think it's wonderful. And I only hope she knows where she is the moment with God, that she has done an enormous amount of good for the young people, for the next generation.
Dame Barbara, thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful.
Is that all right?
Absolutely fine, yes. I just need now a... Done taking it out.
Right, if you...
What do you want me to do? Oh. Try to put it back.
Shall I do it? Here you are.
Yes, put it back.
There you go, all right.
You come out the shop.
Dame Barbara, would you be willing just to stand here
Yeah.
and just walk up to the bookcase, take the book out, open it and just read it, facing this way?
Let's see if I can do that.
Thank you
that
very
be
much.
right?
Without wobbling too much.
Oh,
No.
you're
That's fine. Okay, I'm fine.
Tell me when you're ready.
Yes, I'm ready.
Fine.
Thank you. It's very nice. It's nice. Yes, we can just keep looking at it, please, Dame Barbara. Thank you. Lovely.